Songwriters, let's talk all things melody writing. I'm going to talk about so many different things that you can do to check your melody to make sure it's as effective as you want it to be. I've even heard an LA industry professional say that the melody is way more important than lyrics, and I actually agree. In commercial music, you remember a song's melody far sooner than you remember the song's lyrics. I love a good lyric, but melody actually trumps lyric. First, let's talk about the pitches of your melody. If you take the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, your major scale, you can classify the pitches in two categories, opened or closed. 1, 3, and 5 are considered closed. 2, 4, 6, and 7 are considered open. Closed meaning that they don't feel like they need to resolve. If you'll notice, they're the three pitches of the triad, that is the tonic, the one chord. 2, 4, 6, and 7 feel like they want to resolve. The 7 wants to resolve the most strongly because it wants to go to the 1, the tonic. It's a half step away. The 4 wants to resolve strongly to the 3, another half step. 2 and 6 want to resolve, but they're not quite as strong as the 4 and the 7 because either way that they resolve, it's going to be to a whole step away. You can use that knowledge by either starting or ending your phrases closed or open, but you could print out your lyrics, color code for your own visual, and ask yourself at the end of every line, am I landing on the 1, the 3, and the 5 on every single line of my song? Because you may want to take one of your sections and leave it open melodically so it needs to resolve to go into the next section. Another aspect of pitch is range. Range is the top note of a section and the bottom note of a section. Section being like the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. You want there to be, generally speaking, a contrast in the range, and it is most conventional that your chorus goes a little bit higher than anything else in the song. That's conventional. There are lots of songs that don't do that, but if your song is feeling stagnant, try taking the range of your chorus and make it go, at least in part of it, higher than any other part of your song. Another aspect is tessitura, which is almost like range but not quite. Tessitura is where the melody hangs out. So a section can technically have the same low note and high note as another section, but if the first one hangs out around the bottom part of it and just pops up to the high note and goes back down, and the other section hangs out around the top and pops back down, then goes back up, the range is the same, but the tessitura is different. The whole goal is you want there to be contrast between song sections, and you want there to be somewhere to go from where you start the song. Unless you're starting on the chorus, and some songs do that, and that can be really catchy too. Another aspect of pitch is, are you moving in steps or are you moving in leaps? And if you are moving in leaps and you're still feeling like your melody is stagnant, try taking a leap and go a step higher than you did and see what that does. It might just make it really, really cool. Another thing about pitch, there are 5 basic contours of a line. You can either ascend, descend, static, arc, or inverted arc. Now, if it's a squiggly line, just kind of compare like where the beginning, the middle, and the end of the line are, and the general shape is that. But if you have every single line descending, 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 and nothing ascends, nothing is static, then you might want to create some contrast in that. So you can do another thing where you draw kind of the contour of your melody lines and just compare from one section to the next. You need to create some contrast somewhere. If your verse is all descending and your chorus is all descending, try to make your pre-chorus ascending at the very least, or static or something, because you need contrast. Also, pitch-wise, you want to check the first note of every line and the last note of every line, not just for open or close, but just compare them to one another. So in your verse, is every line starting on the same note? Is your chorus starting on the same note as your verse lines? Try to change that up if that is the case, because that can get really homogeneous and boring after a while, and you need to keep the listener engaged in your melody. You don't want it to seem like they can mentally check out because they feel like what you're doing is predictable. All right, let's talk about the rhythm of your melody. Rhythm is actually more important than pitch. So one checkpoint is, look at the song sections and ask yourself where in the measure each phrase is starting. If every section the phrase starts on beat 2, say, then change it up. Make it start on the downbeat in a section. Give it a pickup in a section. But again, you can create contrast by shifting where your rhythmic phrases are. Another technique that you can use is called rhythmic displacement. Say you have a 3-beat rhythmic figure in a 4-beat meter. You can have it happen on beats 1 through 3 and then start it again on beat 4, have it go in the first 2 beats of the next measure, and then have it start again on beat 3, have it go to the end of that measure and the beginning of the next one. That is called rhythmic displacement. Pre-chorus of Cake by the Ocean is a good example of that. But rhythmic displacement can be really interesting. Another aspect is busy versus open. So you can have one section where the words are coming out really, really fast, and then another section where they're long and drawn out, and another section where you get a few words and then there's a little space and a little few words. But if the lyric is coming at the same pace throughout the entire song, I'm not saying you can't do that, but you got to create other contrast if that's the case. But it can be an easy fix to just change up how fast the lyrics are coming at the listener from one song section to the next to create contrast. And one super quick cheat is, if you need to make a section just have a busier rhythm, you can just say the phrase twice in a row, and then it makes it twice as busy. If that's like, if you're in a time crunch, you just got to create some contrast. It's a lazy way to do it, but it's something you can do. Another rhythmic contrast is syncopated versus square rhythms. So you can push the rhythms ahead in one section and then square it up in another section, but it's the character of your rhythm. You don't want to do it so that they don't sound like they belong in the same song together, but it's just another component of rhythmic personality. I think that's everything I can think of right now, but that should keep you busy for a while. If you are really serious about leveling up your melody writing, go back to the things that you've written and check these metrics in your melodies. See if you're doing these things intuitively. You might already be doing them just because you have that intuition and that it's satisfying that way. But if not, if you have a song that you're not really sure if the melody is delivering, try one of these editing points, see what it does for your melody.